And we got oil pouring out over there. Welcome back to Living with a Classic. I'm here in my daily driven XJ6. However, after putting a new engine in it, there are a few small issues, nothing major, but we do have a pretty bad oil leak, and that's completely my bad, but I'll let you guys know what that is when we pull this thing into the workshop. So I just made some room. Let's see if this thing fires up, and we have the oil leak to sort out and a few other small things, but otherwise it's been going pretty good. But let's see how it starts. Not too bad. All right, gonna let it warm up a tiny bit and then I'll pull it into the workshop. And we just drove around the house here, or around the barn. I'm gonna get into the workshop. Let's see. All right. And there we go. Okay, I'll show you guys the leak. You can see some wetness pretty much right there. You see where it's all shiny, the black part there. That's oil, and it's the same on both sides. And it's completely my fault. You know the banjo fittings out here? I was in quite a hurry putting this all thing back together. I wanted this all up and running before Christmas as my goal. And I forgot to order these. And, well, I thought, you know what? The ones I had in, they were, not that old. I thought I'll try and reuse them, even though I knew that probably wouldn't work. And yes, these are definitely one-time use. So yeah, it's leaking pretty bad here. I haven't tried to snug them up, anything like that. I don't want to ruin any threads. So what we'll do is we'll open them up, put in these new ones, and then we're good. And now I've ordered up a whole bunch of them, so I'll always have some at home. But I mean, it's not that warm, but we'll just let everything cool down a tiny bit. It only ran for maybe 3 or 4 minutes, something like that. While we wait for that, there are other couple things we have a look at. The exhaust, I did manage to fix the leak. It seems I replaced one of the nuts here and did some things, and now it seems to be holding tight. But if that starts leaking again, I do have a nice set of manifolds with better studs and where I can get the studs out. If you remember correctly, the studs in here, I really could not get them out at all, even though I have new ones. But we still have a little bit of a rattle at around 900 RPMs, something. So something is touching somewhere. So we'll have a look at that. And last time I drove, there was a small little bit of a clunk up front when I put it in drive after it's been sitting for a bit. So I'm going to check that I grease over the ball joints. These still have the old style ball joints that you can grease up. So I'll grease everything up. That was quite a while ago, and have a look at that. All right, car is a little bit up in the air, just so I can turn the wheels. And you see right there, that's where the grease nipple is. I just removed this one, and I was unable to get any grease through it. I always like to take the grease nipple out, put it in the grease gun and see that grease goes through it. And yeah, nothing went through this. So definitely not good. I have a new one here. I just have a kit with a lot of different sizes of these, and this one fits. So we'll tighten that down and we'll put some grease in it. But maybe you don't have one of those kits, maybe you don't have access to new ones. I'm gonna try a trick. There is a trick to get these sort of back to life, and we'll try that a little bit later. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but I've seen it done a couple times, and I've done it myself, and it has worked. All right, I managed to get some grease in there, You can see the old grease coming out to the side there. Let's see. It's a bit hard to do this one-handed, but let's see if I can show you guys. So, it fell off. But anyways, lots of old grease come out. I'll put a little bit more in. Do the same on the other side, and then I'll show you guys how you can possibly save an old grease nipple. While trying to fix the other side, the threads were a little bit different on that side, so I have no choice but to reuse this grease nipple. So I really hope I can get it back into life. So really what usually happens is that, okay, you can get a little bit of rust up there, but you get so much pressure from the grease gun, you can usually push past that. But what happens is you get old dried up grease in there. So you can heat it up with a torch and get all of that to hopefully come out. And you saw it just shot out some old grease right there, and right now it's bubbling. That should be fine. I'm gonna let that cool down, and then I'll pop it in a grease gun to see the grease go through it. Hopefully it does, and we can put it back. I'm gonna grab it with some pliers actually while it's still hot, and see if we can put some WD-40 into it. And on there as well. And I think that should definitely help it out. And let's see what happens. Got some black stuff coming out and nice clean grease. So that worked. So that is a good trick to get these back to life. They don't really wear out anything, but you know, old grease dries up and then you don't have enough pressure to push new grease past that. Just heat it up and they're good to go. Put this back in and we'll pump in grease on the other side as well. While I'm at it, might as well put some grease into the front wheel bearings. Wasn't that long ago that I did it, but couple pumps, maybe, yeah, like that, 4 pumps or so. Pretty good. There's a lot of grease in there, but it's a good idea to put some new in there at some point. I haven't actually taken these off, but I just did the same thing on the XJ6. So you guys will see, you just saw the video of it being taken apart, and you'll see it when it's all being put together again. But we'll do that on this car at some point. But the wheel bearings are nice and quiet, no playing them, so I'll just continue greasing them periodically. That's all greased up, and hopefully no more clunking up front. Of course, it could be something else. I do have all the suspension components for one of these cars at home, so if something needs replacing, we'll do that. But I felt around everywhere with a pry bar. I couldn't feel anything, and it wasn't that long ago. I mean, it was close to 2 years ago, but hasn't been driven basically anything since it was at the MOT, and they didn't find any clunking there as well. So hopefully it was just old grease getting dried up in there and should be better now. But I'll let you guys know in the future if that worked. And now on to the exhaust, which I hope is just a heat shield or something in the way. It didn't take me long to find what the issue is. Here is a heat shield in there, and you know, no issues anywhere except up here. There is a cutout for this to go in there, but I put that bolt right there, so that is, it's not hitting right now, but there's a mark right there, a clean mark, so that's been hitting over there. I'll just loosen these up and turn it a couple degrees, and that should sort that issue out. Now time to fix the big oil leak, and it's been a pretty massive one. I mean, if the car sits and idle for a while, there is a pool of oil. I mean, not a massive pool of oil, but still a pool of oil down on that side, because it seems like it runs along the pipe here onto there. Most of it collects there and drips down. And yeah, some of it drips down on this side as well. But pretty straightforward to do. Loosen up both of them at the same time, because the pipe is usually pretty tight, and here we have the kickdown cable. It's a little bit in the way, but yeah, there we go. Should be able to get that one loose now. Yeah, there we go. And that's the last one out. Got both out now. Just gotta get the washer over here. The old one. Okay, we'll put those to the side so we can throw them in the bin. And now it's time for some new ones. A little bit fiddly here, but should be able to get it all into place pretty easily. A while later, and that's all together. It was a little bit fiddly. So if you remember, I mentioned when I put this engine in the car, there's one sort of bad thing with this engine, and that is that the threads in here have been partially stripped by someone in the past, and the previous owner bought these longer bolts, which really do help a lot. Work great on that side. This side, I just could not get it to go in, so I grabbed a original style one from a parts engine and got that to tighten pretty tight. I don't dare tighten it anymore in case I strip anything. So fingers crossed everything will be oil tight, but usually these sort of copper washers things don't need to be that tight. But I wiped off all the old oil around that area. So let's see if this thing fires into life. So far, that's nice and dry. And we got oil pouring out over there. A couple of minor adjustments later, and it seems to be oil tight now. I tightened this back one a bit more, swallowed the brake fill and just sort of went for it. And seems to be completely oil tight now. And that one also. So I'd say that is a great success. And that's it for today's episode. Got some good work done here on the daily driver. So hopefully the engine should be completely oil tight now. But of course I'll check after a couple drives, just make sure that it's tight up there. And if I need to, maybe tighten it just a little bit more carefully if it's not oil tight. Other than that, we'll see if the clunk has gone away now with some new grease in there. And yeah. Things are going pretty well here with the daily driver. It's nice to have it back on the road. But of course, I'll let you guys know if anything happens. And also, there's always a long list of things I want to do to this car. Anyways, if you like this video, please give a thumbs up, share it with your friends. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. Until next time, I'm Adam. This was Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.